This is Ravi Kumar Poluru. So already we have discussed about the software project management. So we have seen the video about software project management. So why we are using this software project management and what are the roles of the project manager and how this project manager will be handling the different types of the people and handling the different types of the stakeholders. Today we are going to discuss about the waterfall model. So you know that waterfall model is nothing but this is the first and basic process model for the SDLC, that is software development lifecycle. So this waterfall model was the first process model to be introduced. So this can be also called as linear sequential lifecycle model. So it means each and every steps will be completed before the completion of the first task. So this waterfall model is very simple to understand and very useful to use in the initial stage. So in a waterfall model, so each phase must be completed before the next phase. It means we have the different types of the phases. So before going to the next phase, so this phase has to be completed. Then only it will be moves to the next phase. So this is the main criteria in the waterfall model. So and there is no overlapping. So here we don't have any overlap in the waterfall model. So this waterfall model is mainly this is called as the allied SDLC, software development lifecycle approach. So that was used for the software engineering or the software project management. And here we have the different types of the phases and the process in each in the waterfall model. So in this waterfall model, the first phase can called as the requirement analysis. So this is the first phase which we are using the waterfall model as the requirement analysis. And the second stage is we can call as the system design. And the third phase of that stage we can call as the implementation. And the next stage is we can call as the testing. And next one is deployment. And the last we can call as the maintenance. In the first phase, in the first phase of the waterfall model, requirement analysis. In the requirement analysis, the stakeholder will come with the problem statement and he will be discussing with the project manager. So after discussion of, between the stakeholders and the project manager, then he will be sitting with the group of team members. There will be experts will be there. They're going to discuss about the just like first they will use the business use case. We can call as the business use case will be happen. So for the problem statement, then they will go for the what are the different types of the requirements. So what are the requirements means? So it will come under the like system requirement and the software requirement. So and in the after completion of the business use case, the system and the software requirements, the main task for this one is they're going to design the architecture in the initial stage because they has to know what is the budget and the duration and the schedule of the project. So initially these experts will be sitting and they are going to discuss about the problem statement and how much time they require to complete this. So based upon the blueprint of the software project. So here the team will be sitting. So they're going to design the different types of the components. In that components we have the hardware type as well as the software type. So based upon these components, they're going to schedule the what is the duration of the project, and they're going to have the clear information about the documentation. So in this waterfall model, the first one is the blueprint of the software project, and the next one is the documentation. So by seeing this documentation only, each and every team will be doing the software coding as well as the different types of the phases will be happened in the initial stage of this software project. And this is in the phase one. So after completion of this requirement analysis, then they'll go for the system design. So in this system design, they're going to scrutinize. So what are the hardware components whether they need to add any different types of the hardware components based upon the technology and the techniques, so that they're using the different types of the technology and the hardware as well as the softwares in the system design. And the next phase, the implementation. So in this implementation, mainly we have the SLOC, that is source line of code. So based upon these source lines of code, so if based upon this SLOC, they're going to calculate the amount budget of the software project. So here in this SLOC, it means the number of lines of the code in the software project. So if it is having more number of lines of the code in the project, then the budget will be very high here. So that they're going to verify what are the technology they're going to use and what are the programming they want to implement in this software programming language. So this will be mainly based upon the programming language which they're going to choose here. And the next one is testing part. So after developers writing the code, so the next phase it goes to the testing part. So all the hardware as well as the software, the components will be tested by the expert members will be there, so that they're going to verify what the different types of the bugs or you can call as the issues will be happen during this stage. So if more number of bugs will be happen in this testing phase, then the cost of the project will be doubled, or sometimes we can call as the 100% of the budget will be doubled. Why means, so in this testing phase, they're going to check that how many number of bugs or errors will be performed. So they has to minimize these bugs, because for each and every product of the project, they have to there should not be any errors. Okay, and then if it goes to the deployment. In the deployment stage, they're going to check that whether this product or the project is running successfully or not. Okay, so this after completion of the successful testing of the different types of the software and the hardware in different ways, then the product is set to be delivered to the end users, or you can call as the uh, different types of the customers or the end users. And after that, maintenance. Okay, the product has to be validated and verification before uh, sending to the end users of the market. So here we have the maintenance. So they has to verify and validate the product is working in a good condition or not. So these are the different types of the phases which are in a waterfall model. So in this waterfall model, mainly, so each and every phase has to be completed, then only it will be moves to the another phase. So we have discussed that requirement gathering and analysis. It means all the possible requirements, what are the system and the software requirements are there to be developed or captured in this phase. It means there should be a brainstorming between the different types of the experts and the stakeholders. So in the initial stage, the stakeholders will be there, and the project manager will be there, and group of experts will be sitting and doing the business use case, so that what are the problem analysis, how they're going to tackle this based upon the planning and the requirement, and what are the different types of the architecture that they need to develop, and the full in detail about the documented. So in initial stage only they need to do the documentation, because it will be very helpful for the team members to do the project in a smooth manner. Okay, and the next is system design. So the system design is, so in this system design they're going to verify about the specifications from first phase. It means in the initial stage, so they based upon the documentation and the architecture, they're going to verify about in detail about the what are the phases and the components they need to prepare, so that it will be helpful. So which hardware and the software they are going to implement in this architecture, blueprint of the components as well as the system requirements, so that to fulfill this overall system architecture. So this is the second phase. And the next phase is implementation. So in these implementations, we'll take the different types of the inputs from the system design, so that the system is first developed in a small programs. We can call as the units or modules. So this project manager will be allocating. So this project manager cannot give full or the large amount of the project documentation to the single team members. So what he will do means he will segregate. It means he will perform this is the full length of the project, so that he will be dividing the different types of the modules. Okay, so so this is module 1, module 2, and model 3 till model n. So they are going to assign these models to the different types of the team members. So here the small programs or models will be assigned to the team members, so that it will be very useful for the to do the task in a proper manner. So this will be which are integrated in the next phase. It means all the modules or the units will be combined. So divide and conquer method. So they are using the divide and conquer method, so that the last or the big task will be divided into small groups. Later they are going to club into a single unit. So this each unit is developed and tested for its functionality, so that it will be very useful to identify or doing the code in a simple manner. So which is we can call as the unit testing. So each and every model will be performed. This each unit we can call as it is a unit testing will be performed in the implementation. And the next stage is integration and testing. So in this integration and testing, they are going to collect all the different types of the modules, okay, or we can call as the units, will be clubbed into a single module, so that this integrated into a system of the tested of each unit, so that each and every model will be tested in the testing stage, so that in the post integration the entire system is tested for any faults. So they're going to consider these different types of the modules, and these models will be going to verify in this testing phase. They're going to verify how many bugs will be there in each and every module. Later stage, after completion of this testing, they're going to club into a single model, so that it will be very useful to identify how many errors in each and every models, and to clear the bugs, the errors in the each and every models, so that they're going to identify what are the different types of the faults or the failures will be happened in the different types of the models. And the next one is deployment. So these in the deployment we have the different types of the testing. So one is functional testing, and the non-functional testing will be happened in the deployment. So the product is deployed in the customer environment or released in the market. So here in the deployment stage, they are going to have the different types of the checking the different types of whether this product will be working in a proper manner, or they're going to target to the some group of customers or the clients, so that whether this product is suitable to the different types of the segments. Now, last one is maintenance. So maintenance, there are some issues which come in the client environment. So that to fix those issues or the patches, so they're going to patches will be released. So for example, in Linux, we have the operating system called Ubuntu. So we have the different types of the versions will be there. Okay, so initially they're going to release the version 1. So after any problem or the bugs will be identified, they're going to release the another patches. We can call as the patches, or the versions will be released to overcome these issues. So mainly these versions of the patches will be why they are going to release means to enhance the product in more better manner, so that the maintenance done to deliver these changes in the customer environment, so that it will be very helpful to maintenance the different types of the bugs by releasing the patches, or we can call as the versions in the maintenance stage. Okay, so what are the main features of the waterfall model? So we have the different types of the features. So first one is sequential approach. The waterfall model will involves the sequential approach. It means each and every stage, each and every phase has to be completed before going to the next phase. So where each phase of the project is completed before moving to the next one. So here this is a sequential approach. So first it will goes to the analysis, then it will goes to the design board. So like that it will move to the each and every next phases here. And this one more feature of the waterfall model is document driven. So in the initial stage only, they're going to do the relies heavily on the documentation. It means in the starting stage only, this project manager must meet with the group of experts, and first they're going to discuss about the what is the problem statement, how they are going to overcome with the help of the doing the in detail about the documentation. These team members, each and every developer, the team members will be rely on the documentation. Based upon this documentation only, they're going to do the particular models. That's why this project is well defined, and the project team is working towards a clear set of goals based upon the documentation. If the documentation is wrong, then the whole project will be goes in a wrong manner. So that's why in the initial stage only they're going to write the documentation in a proper manner. And the next one is quality control. So this waterfall model will be having more on high emphasis on quality. So they are going to verify about the high quality and the testing at each and every phase of the project. It means each and every stages they are going to scrutinize the what is the review of the project, and what are the challenges will be happen during the stage of the each and every phase, so that these final products will be meet the requirements to expectations of the stakeholders. And the next one is rigorous plan. So this rigorous planning will be performed where the project scope and the timelines and the deliveries are carefully defined and monitored throughout the project. So here the project manager and the team leaders will be having a look on the review meetings, so that whether the project will be happening in a smooth manner or not, so that they are going to get some idea. So whether the project will be completed within the stipulated time and the cost. Okay. So what is the main importance of the waterfall model? So we need to understand why this waterfall model will be very useful in the initial stage. So first one is the clarity and the simplicity. So we have discussed that waterfall model is a simple and to use in the SDLC. So it means it is in a linear form of the waterfall model offers a simple and unambiguous. It means there is no, overlap between the from one phase to the other phase. And the next one is clearly defined phase. It means the waterfall model phases each have unique inputs and outputs, guaranteed a planned development with obvious checkpoints. It means each and every phase having the unique inputs. It means each and every modules they're going to assign to the team members. They're giving the different types of the inputs and outputs to the each and every team members, so that they are very helpful to do the to complete this project in a proper manner. The next one is the documentation. So the waterfall model is mainly relies on the documentation. So they will be focusing on the documentations which will be help to have the computer comprehension and unkeep and the future growth. It means there should not be any deviations while they having the look of the documentation. So that's why the documentation is playing a very important role in the waterfall model. So these experts will be writing the documentations in a proper manner without any difficulty to the team members. And the next is stability in requirements. So stability means they are going to verify about whether these projects will be meeting the requirements clear and steady, and having any modification. It means reducing the modifications and the project progress. It means by keeping the review meetings. So this is the very helpful for the project manager and the team members to understand what is the stability or the steady of the software project, so that they're going to check whether they require any modifications in the initial stage or not. And resource optimizations. So this will be performed effectively task focused work without continuous changing. It means by allocating the resources to the each and every team member, so that this project phase has to be completed without having any hurdles during the software project and the stipulated time. And relevance for the small projects. So economically for modest projects with simple specifications and minimal complexity. This waterfall model is mainly used for the simple specifications, and it will be it will be used for the small to medium sectors will be used this waterfall model. Why means this is very economically modest project. It means the cost also very low in the waterfall model and having the very minimal complexity. Okay, so these are the main features of the waterfall model. So for each and every technology or the domains what you're using, the techniques, so there should be some issues or we can call as the gaps or there's some challenges will be there during the waterfall model. So what are the main shortcomings will be happen in the real projects while they're doing means in the software development life cycle, the main waterfall model having the major drawbacks. One is there is no feedback path. So this feedback path is nothing but so here in each and every phase we have. So this is we can call as the phase one and this is the phase two. So in the phase one and phase two, if you're having any problem during this phase one and phase two, there is no feedback from the P1 to P2 or P2 to P1. So it means they are going to verify these are the requirements means they have to do stick on to these requirements only. So they cannot give the what are the different types of the requirements during the phase of the project. And the next one is difficulty to accommodate change request. So this is here in the classical waterfall model. So mainly they are going to check that these are the main major if any request will be happened during the projects, the software project by using the waterfall model. So the change request is very it's very difficult to accommodate here, and no overlapping of phases. So uh, here in the we have discussed that in the waterfall model we have the P1 and P2. So like that it will be completing the P1, P2 and P3. So here after completion of this P1 only then P2 will be started. So here if you are stuck in the P1 phase, that is the first phase. So these remaining phases will be in the waiting mode. It means until the completion of the first phase only, they need to move to the second phase. So that is the main problem of the no overlapping of the phases here. And the next one is limited flexibility. So there is no flexible of the projects to overcome on the during the stage of these software projects in the waterfall model and limited stakeholders in involvement. So what is this limited stakeholders in involvement means? So in the initial stage only, in the starting stage, the stakeholder will uh, meet with the project manager and giving the different types of the inputs to the project management. Okay, so in medium he will not interfere to changes to view the changes or the to view the different types of the inputs to the project. So that's why we can call as a limited stakeholder involvement. It means during the stage of the starting early stage only, these stakeholders has to be give the inputs to the project management. So after completion only, he will come to know what are the hurdles in the software projects. So and late defect detection. So one of the most issue in the waterfall model is late defect detection. So here the late defect detection is nothing but here. So we have the different types of the phases and there in the waterfall model. So in these, okay, in each and every phase, if any bugs or the errors is occurred during these phases, so they're not going to identify what are the different types of the bugs or the issues will be happening in the each and every phases. So after completion of these all the phases only, they're going to identify the what are the list of errors or the bugs are happened during the software project. So this is the main problem in the waterfall model. It means after completion of the task or the phases only, they're going to identify the what are the different types of the errors or the bugs are happened in during each and every phases here. And lengthy development cycle means they're having the code of the SLOC is very length is very high and each and every phase has to be complete the task. Then only they're going to verify what are the different types of the hurdles during the project. During the project as well as and they cannot estimate what is the cost of the project in these during these phases. So that is the lengthy development second, and not suitable for complex projects. So this is mainly useful for the only small to medium. So why means because the stakeholders and the projects cannot be identified what are the issues will be happening during the phases of each and every phases of the waterfall model. So that's why it is not suitable for the complex projects. So why means one more thing is here they cannot predict that what is the actual cost. So for example, when the project manager initially they're going to assign that the cost of the project is 10 crores. But during these stages, if any the code SLOC is very lengthy and more number of works during the phases of the life cycle means, then the cost of the project will be doubled, and also the maintenance cost also will be doubled. So that's why we have seen that the maintenance cost. So while we are doing the developing the product cost of is $1, then the maintenance cost will be double. It means it will be double of the maintenance when they're not identifying the problems during the initial stage of the uh, project in the waterfall model. So the next one is when we are going to use this waterfall model. So we need to well understand requirements. First, in the initial stage only, they're going to identify what are the precise and reliable and thoroughly documented requirements are available. So here in the during this stage, the project manager and the team members, different types of the experts will be sitting here, and the stakeholders has to be seen. We are going to discuss about the what is the main problem statement of the to handle this project, and in the initial stage only, they are going to check what are the precise and the reliable of the different types of the requirements. Accordingly, they are going to have the different types of the requirements and the planning and the analysis. Okay, and they're going to do the documentation based upon these requirements in the initial stage. Okay, and the next one is very little changes expected. So in this, during the development means the implementation stage, very little adjustments or expansions to the project scopes are anticipated, because mainly here the review meetings between the project management and the team leaders and the team members will be very uh, not frequently will be happen. So the changes also will be very little will be happen during these stages. Only minimal amount of the changes will be happen during these stages. And next is small to medium sized projects. So we have discussed that this is not suitable for the complex. Why means ideal for more manageable products. It means with the help of clear development path and a little complexity. So here, during the stages, each and every phases, they're not going to identify what are the defects of the books in each and every phase. So that's why it will be very helpful to use for the small and the medium sized projects. And in the waterfall model, the cost of the project will be sometimes double or triple, or it may be n times will be happen, because they're not scrutinized properly during these stages. And predictable. So the projects that are predictable and able to address early in the development life cycles, there has been known and controllable risk. So if it is a project is a small and a medium, so they are easily addressed what are the hurdles or the issues will be happen during this each and every phases of the life cycle. And regulatory compliance is critical. So it means the paperwork is of utmost importance, and extension regulatory compliance is required. It means they need to work out the each and every documented in a proper manner, so that they're going to challenge what are the complaints will be happen during these stages of the life cycles. And the clients prefer say linear and sequential approach. So this may be the client's preference for the linear and the sequential approach to a project development. The waterfall model mainly, so we know that this is in a sequential manner, and we can call it as the linear, means after completion of the first first phase, then only it will move to the another phase. So like that, each and every phases will be completed. The involvement of the client and the involvement of the stakeholders during these stages in a waterfall model is very minimal. Why means, so during these stages, these client and stakeholders will not be involved. So they are going to involve in the early stage only. So early stages, they are going to discuss about this. What is the problem statement? What are the inputs they wants to give to the project management? Okay. After completion means after completion of these all the phases only, these clients or the stakeholders they are going to involve. So what is the actual output of the product or the project? So here the client prefers only the linear and sequential. So that's why in the waterfall model, so this mainly helpful for the small and for the medium projects. Okay, and the next one is limited resources will be using in the waterfall model. So here the projects with limited resources can benefit from a step-up strategy which enables targeted resource allocations. It means they're having only the limited. So while they're doing the small projects and the medium projects, here they're having only the limited resources in the waterfall model. This will be very benefit for the what are the different types of the strategies they are going to set up during the waterfall model, so that it will be enabled for the resource allocations for each and every team members. So based upon the resources and the requirements. So these requirements can be have the system requirements and the software requirements will be there. So these requirements has to be allocated to the different types of the team members or the team members, or you can call it the software developers. So here they're having only the limited resources can be passed on during these stages. So it will be very helpful. So when the project is small and medium. So for the large project, they cannot be assigned because the resources are very limited here. So for the large projects, the resources are insufficient to allocate to each and every team members or the team members to do the task within a scheduled time of the allocation of the projects here. So these are the main, when we are going to use this waterfall model, okay, and what are the different criteria we need to use this waterfall model in a different types of the strategies. So here, so first we need to understand the requirements of the project. So what are the different types of the requirements we required to do the development of the software project in a life cycle, so that this should be a very precise, reliable, and thoroughly documentation. So documentation is very important during each and every stages here. Okay, so they're going to verify about the requirements and the planning and the analysis of the should be very reliable to the during these documented requirements. Okay, and here during the development, only the little adjustments or the expansions means while they're doing the projects, only the minimal amount of the changes for the SLUs will be happen during the project scope will be accepted. So if they want to maximize the different types of the changes, more number of changes, so they're not going to expect to include in this the waterfall model. So that's why they're going to use the different types of the SDLC to implement this. So that's why this waterfall model will be mainly used for the small to medium sized projects. Okay. Now, where we are going to use this waterfall model. So the main applications of the waterfall model is large scale software development projects. Okay. So the waterfall model is often used for large scale software development projects where a structured and sequential approach is necessary to ensure that the project is completed on time and within a budget. So we have discussed that mainly the waterfall model is applicable only for the small and the medium. So when this waterfall model will be applicable for the large scale. Means when they're very clear and have the structure, means or when they're having the different types of the requirements and the analysis, the planning, and the well documented in a sequential approach, then based upon the completion of a time, so within the stipulated time of the schedule of the time and the budget, so then they can move for the large scale software development projects. And the next one is safety critical systems. This safety critical systems is nothing but mainly this will be helpful for the aerospace or the medical systems. Okay, where the consequence of the errors or the defects can be severe. So here, based upon this, this waterfall model is mainly used in the development of the these sectors, aerospace and the medical system. For the emergency, they are going to use these aerospace systems or the medical systems where the consequence of the errors or the defects can be severe. And next one is the government and the defense projects. So these governments and the defense projects are very rigorous and the structured approach is necessary. It means wherever they require these types of the phases, the projects meets all the requirements and the deliver within the time. So this mainly used in the government and the defense projects. So in the 90s, 1950s and it's like that. So this waterfall model is mainly implemented in the different types of the government sectors and the defense projects as well as in the aerospace and the medical system emergencies. And the projects with the well-defined requirements. So mainly they're going to verify about the what are the main requirements are going to use are suitable for the projects with the well-defined requirements. Then they're going to identify the different types of the requirements is suitable for the projects and having the sequential nature of the model requires a clear understanding of the project objective and the scope. So based upon these well-defined requirements for the software and the system, so these will be mainly used for the different types of the applications. And the project, and the next one is the projects with the stable requirements. So here we have the well suited for the projects with stable requirements, like in the linear nature of the model does not allow changes for to make once a phase has been completed. So we have discussed already. We have discussed. So the phase one has to be completed. Then only it has to move to the next phase. If it's not completed, then remaining phase has to be the waiting stage only. It means it will be in the stable requirement. It means the during this phase, all the requirements, all the analysis of the project has to be done in the this phase. Then it will move to the another phase. So like that, it will go. It will move to the one phase to the another phase until unless this will be completed all the requirements during the project life cycle. So that's why this waterfall model is well suited for the projects which will be stable requirements. When they're having the stable requirements, then only this project will be suitable for through the software projects for different segments. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.